Imagine being able to give your future child not just a new life, but also a starting capital for their entire future. What could that be? It's the citizenship of a strong country, acquired by right of soil, by right of birth. It's visa-free access to half the world, opportunities that most people can only dream of. Sounds cool, right? But here's the catch. 90% of people who begin down this particular path and choose a country in which to give birth abroad tend to make the same, often fatal, mistake. They rely on the opinions and advice of acquaintances or select a hyped, popular country rather than carefully analyzing the facts, statistics, and rankings that would enable them to perform a thorough analysis and make a truly informed decision. It was exactly the same for us. In 2019, when my wife Irina and I found out we were expecting, we decided to give birth in the US because a friend of ours had given birth there. Fortunately, our visa was quickly denied, and we still had enough time to approach this matter more thoroughly, analyze and compare other countries, look at international passport rankings, and carefully choose the country that truly met all our needs and allowed us to give our now 6-year-old son Roman the citizenship of a strong and respected country. So today, we're not just going to look at the top 5 countries for giving birth abroad. We're going to do something that no one else does. We'll examine them from the perspective of real benefits for your entire family based on statistics, facts, and rankings. And at the end, I'll tell you about the country we chose for ourselves and which country's citizenship our 6-year-old Roman now holds. To make our analysis fair, let's agree on the rules for comparison. What criteria will we use to evaluate the countries? Forget about pretty pictures. We're only looking at the rankings. All the countries in our ranking grant citizenship by birthright. That means a child will automatically receive citizenship with no conditions if they are born in the country, regardless of their parents' status. The first criterion, and in my opinion the most important one, is the strength of the child's passport, according to the Henley Passport Index. The second criterion is whether a visa is required to enter the country and how difficult it is to get there. The third criterion is the benefit that the rest of the family receives from having a child born in that country. The fourth criterion is the country's well-being ranking, including the level of healthcare, safety, and corruption, because if you plan to live there in the future, naturally, the situation in the country plays a significant role. We'll end up with a total score for each country. The higher the score, the worse, because we'll be comparing the country's position in the global ranking. The lower the score, the better. And the fifth criterion is the travel budget. We'll look at the minimum budget for organizing a comfortable birth abroad. Based on these 5 criteria, we select only the strongest players. Let's go. And the first country on our list is Canada, whose passport is ranked 9th in the world and opens 183 countries and independent territories to visa-free entry. Very good. However, for all post-Soviet countries, a visa is required to enter Canada, and it's not easy to obtain. For the third point, benefits for the whole family after childbirth, it is possible to get a visa through a relative, but you must participate in the interest to sponsor lottery, and before applying for citizenship, you must live there at least 5 years. As for the fourth criterion, which is rankings, Canada is ranked 12th in the global ranking of prosperous countries, 33rd in healthcare, 11th in safety, and 15th in terms of corruption level. Total 71 points. Let me remind you that the fewer points, the better. And I'll say right away that this is the leader. It takes first place on our list in terms of total rankings. And the fifth point is the trip budget. Here, of course, the budget is substantial for childbirth, starting at $50,000, the largest part of which is the contract with the clinic and the deposit to that very clinic. The second country in our ranking is the USA, whose passport ranks 12th in the world and allows visa-free entry to 180 countries. Not bad either. However, for point 2, just like Canada, a visa is required for citizens of most countries. And as for the third point, the benefit for the family from having a child here is, of course, a minus. Family reunification is only possible after 21 years. According to the rankings, the USA is 17th in the world for well-being, 39th for healthcare, 132nd attention for safety, and 28th for the level of corruption. Total 216 points. This is third place in the list of 5 countries. It loses to Canada and one more country, which I will mention later. And the budget for a trip to give birth in the USA starts at $40,000. The The third country on our list is Argentina, whose passport ranks 19th in the world and grants visa-free entry to 169 countries according to the Henley Passport Index. It grants access to countries like those in Europe and Britain, but not to countries like the USA and Canada. An advantage is that, according to the second point, visitors from most countries do not need a visa or can obtain one on arrival. Third, another plus is that parents, upon the birth of a child, can obtain a residence permit and apply for citizenship after 2 years of uninterrupted residence in the country. There is no language exam in Spanish, but you do need basic knowledge to communicate with the immigration officer. You probably know Argentina as a country with endless political upheavals and defaults. But what do international rankings say about Argentina? The country ranks 59th in terms of well-being, 37th in healthcare, 47th in safety, and 99th in terms of corruption. Total 242 points. The budget for a trip to give birth here is, of course, significantly lower than in the USA, starting from $20,000. Fourth place out of the 5 countries on our list. The fourth country is Brazil. Its passport, just like the Argentine one, ranks 19th in the world and grants visa-free access to 169 countries. Like the Argentine passport, it allows visa-free entry to European countries and the UK, but not to the USA or Canada. As with Argentina, citizens of most countries do not need a visa. When a child is born, parents have the right to obtain a residence permit, and after 1 year living there, they can apply for citizenship. Brothers and sisters of the newborn Brazilian up to age 10 also have the same rights. In addition, an important feature, a Portuguese language exam, the main language of Brazil, is mandatory here. Brazil ranks 56th in terms of national well-being, 63rd in healthcare, 131st in safety, and 107th in corruption levels. Total 357 points. The cost of a trip for childbirth with a stay in a private clinic starts at $20,000. Brazil takes 5th place in our list of countries. So, which country did we choose for the birth of our child in 2019, after analyzing all the data? It was Chile, the most prosperous country in Latin America. Now let's take a look at the numbers and facts from our comparison. The Chilean passport ranks 16th in the world and grants visa-free access to 175 countries and independent territories, including the USA and Canada. And it is the only country in Latin America with such privileges. In addition, it allows visa-free entry to EU countries, the UK, Japan, South Korea, and China. Now on to the second point regarding visas. Similarly, a visa is not required for nationals from a wide range of countries. For everyone else, it is possible to obtain a tourist visa. The third point is the advantage for families. Parents of a child born in Chile have the right to obtain a 2-year residence permit, and after just 1 year of residence, they can apply for permanent residency, and after 2 years, they can apply for citizenship for themselves. There is no language exam in Spanish, but you do need to have basic Spanish skills to communicate with the immigration officer. The fourth point in our comparison, Chile ranks 42nd among the most prosperous countries in the world. It is the most prosperous country in Latin America. 51st place in healthcare, 64th in the safety ranking, and 32nd in the corruption ranking. Yes, here it's better not to offer a bribe to a police officer on the road. At best, they simply won't understand you. So, Chile scores a total of 189 points in the rankings, and among our 5 countries, takes 2nd place after Canada based on the combined ratings. And the 5th point, the budget for a trip to give birth here is about the same as in other Latin American countries, starting from $20,000. I think now you understand why we chose Chile not only as a country for our child to be born and to obtain citizenship for them, but also for us to get residency and citizenship ourselves. But that's not all. There's another important nuance that makes Chile a particularly unique choice, not only in terms of legal details, but also regarding the practical support for your future trip, namely your peace of mind in an unfamiliar country. When you travel abroad to give birth, you find yourself in an unfamiliar country with a foreign language where you have to handle a ton of administrative tasks with the clinic, doctors, rentals, and paperwork. You end up spending your nerves, time, and energy when you should be enjoying the most unique moment of your life. At Chile Kids, we've eliminated this problem. We're not just an agency, we're your personal operator in Chile. We have our own highly professional team on site, translators, escorts, lawyers, and coordinators who speak Russian, English, Spanish, and Chinese. We take care of everything, from meeting you at the airport and selecting a clinic to submitting documents for citizenship. You arrive and calmly focus on just one important thing, the birth of your child. Everything else is our responsibility. Thus, I believe that the careful combination of choosing the right country and a trustworthy and reliable provider is extremely important when making the final decision: where should you go to give birth abroad? I recommend approaching the birth of your child as a strategic project in your life and choosing only the very best for this project. Don't put off your family's important future. Take the first step for your loved ones right now, today. If you enjoyed this video analysis, please like and subscribe to our channel. Here you'll find all the most interesting things about Latin America.